and admitted, "It was me, Chairman." The chairman was surprised. "I see. I didn't expect you to have connections in this field." She smiled excitedly and explained, "It's a newly established relationship." The chairman continued smiling. "That's great. As a veteran member, I have no other expectations from you. Now, Lost Yark, among these 2,000 people, how many actually have skills?" He answered immediately. "If we exclude players without a profession and those below level 10, we have about 1,200 people." This number made the chairman fall into deep thought. Then, how many are truly useful? At this moment, Lost Yark put on his glasses and picked up his tablet. "Let me address this question." He scrolled through the information on his device and began reporting. A notable player is Black Dragon Fire. In hand, from region ESKS 45-5. He's just an ordinary level 10 warrior, but he ranks 3rd in his region. The chairman pondered. 3rd. He must have an ancient script suitable for his level. Either that, or he's lying. Lost Yark revealed a satisfied expression. "But I believe he is good enough to be an operational candidate." The report continued. "Yes. Is there anyone else?" He kept scrolling through the data, then stopped. "Another. One is Little Cockle, from region ESKS 122-7. His ranking fluctuates between 6th and 10th place." Lost Yark also reported another encouraging statistic. Besides these two, there are 50 players within the top 100 of their respective regions. The chairman's eyes lit up. "That's quite a lot. Looks like I'll be busy interviewing all of them." Suddenly, the topic shifted to another person. "Oh. My dear 30-year-old. He suddenly snapped awake from dozing off. "Sorry." The chairman's expression immediately turned stern. "You were dozing off? What did you do last night to be this tired now?" The 30-year-old man wanted to explain but couldn't find the words. I, his superior cut him off directly. "I don't want to hear excuses. Before the next meeting, handle all 50 interviews. If you don't finish, another senior candidate might replace you." Because of his mistake, he had no choice but to nod and agree. I understand. Leave it to me." The chairman turned to another question. "By the way, Lost Yark, has Black Eel made any contact?" He checked his phone and then replied, "If he had, would have reported it already." Upon hearing this, he sighed, "Maybe that's really the case. If he joined, I would immediately give him a managerial position. What a pity." Then he continued instructing the managers, "Yami, can you ask that journalist to write another article? We might need more publicity strategies to attract Black Eel to join." She squinted and made a gesture, "Of course, as long as there's money." He generously agreed, "Don't worry about that, I'll reward your contribution." Yami smiled happily, "Thank you, Chairman." He was about to move on to another topic. "All right, let's move on to the next subject." But suddenly, Lost Yark shouted in surprise, Wait a minute, Chairman. A big name just requested to join the forum." The chairman immediately stopped and curiously asked, "Who?" His subordinate's fingers trembled as he hurriedly said, "Be Black Eel." The entire management team instantly sobered up upon hearing the name of the server's top expert. Meanwhile, a 30-year-old man somewhat nervously shook hands with the person in front of him. "Nice to meet you. Coming here shouldn't have been too difficult, right?" The other person coldly replied, "It was difficult." The man awkwardly scratched the back of his neck and forced a smile, "Sorry, this is already the most private place we could arrange." They walked into the gathering place together. "Anyway, you're really good looking. You must be popular with the ladies. Come, this way." The guest took a seat next to the 30-year-old man, settling down at his invitation. "Please, have a seat. These two are also here for an interview, just like you." Black Dragon Fire Palm widened his eyes in shock. "Hello." The introverted boy greeted softly. The stranger sitting in front of them introduced himself, "I'm Black Eel." Ryuman flashed a sly smile from under his hood. I'm Little Cockle. This guy is interesting. Hyung Taek broke into a cold sweat. That guy is Black Eel. The one who killed me 5 times. I really want to ask him if we've met in real life, otherwise, why does he like killing me so much? The 30-year-old immediately reminded him, Black Dragon Fire, what's wrong? Aren't you going to introduce yourself? He quickly lowered his head and mumbled, Pleased to meet you, I'm Black Dragon Fire. The supposed Black Eel only gave a slight nod, as if he had heard him. His reaction made Black Dragon Fire grit his teeth nervously. What? He didn't even respond. I thought saying my in-game name would make him recognize me. Did he kill me 5 times and still not remember my name? Meanwhile, Ryuman quietly observed their every move while sipping his water. Was I this arrogant before? Even though I'm impersonating someone too, this guy is the real fraud here. He had already recognized the person's true identity. His in-game name is Kakura Bingbong. He's a professional scammer who uses all kinds of tricks to cheat people out of their money. This imposter might even create another persona in the future. Though he's not too dangerous right now, eventually, he'll acquire ancient copy script and become infamous, or rather, notorious, because he'll use ancient copy script for various crimes. He calculated carefully in his mind, this is the harsh reality, even criminals can gain power from another world. But fortunately, I've encountered him. Just as planned, I'll use him to obtain ancient copy script. The 30-year-old took out his computer and said, has everyone finished introducing themselves? Then I'll start verifying personal information. Let's begin with Little Cockle. Alright. Yumin played dumb successfully and shyly said, my name is Kim Sung-hyun. I'm 20 years old, just graduated from graduate school, so I don't have a job yet. The 30-year-old administrator carefully recorded the information. It says here that you're a level 13 assassin, correct? He immediately replied, yes. The other party pressed on, you're also ranked 4th in your region. Why yes. On the surface, he pretended to be flustered, but inside, Yumin cursed, bullshit, it's all nonsense. Of course, except for the player name, that's real. When they gathered earlier, he saw a player using this name and decided to steal it. The name Little Cockle does exist. In other words, I'm impersonating someone. But I have to do this to fulfill the conditions for obtaining ancient language copy. According to his memory, In Hong once personally stabbed a girl. Ancient language copy requires the recipient to kill someone in the hidden land of the ancient language while impersonating another person. That bastard remained calm, doing his best to appear as cold-hearted as Yumin. In the past, this bastard disguised himself as me, killed someone, and obtained ancient language copy. Then, the 30-year-old administrator turned to Hyung Ze. Alright, next is you, Black Fire Dragon. He immediately responded, my name is Shim Hyung Ze, I'm 16 years old, and currently in high school. The other party exclaimed in surprise but thought to himself, you're the youngest one here. This fat pig is actually a high schooler. Disgusting. The 30-year-old administrator looked at the person in front of him and couldn't help but question himself, can I still underestimate him? If people knew that Shim Hyung Ze killed his own classmate. That's not something an ordinary high schooler could do. He repeated the same question, you're a level 10 warrior, and you were ranked 3rd in your region, is that correct? Black Fire Dragon slammed the table. What? You think I'm lying? The other party shrugged and explained, it's just part of the procedure. If you feel offended, I apologize. Then, the 30-year-old administrator started interviewing the last person, your turn, Black Hook. Your name is? Kim In-hong glanced at him before answering, Kim In-hong, 28 years old. I'm a fund manager. I've never fallen out of the top rankings in my region. I'm currently level 30. You should know that my class is Reaper, right? Anything else to confirm? The other party didn't dare to refute, only offering an awkward smile, no, thank you. Yumin continued eating the strawberries in his cup but was extremely dissatisfied inside, fund manager, my ass. He's clearly a scammer boss. Later, he'll even use the name Black Hook to borrow money from other players. The 30-year-old administrator put down his computer and returned to a serious demeanor. That's all the identity verification I needed. Now, let's officially start the interview. You just need to tell me why you want to join PCW. Little Cockle, you first. Yumin twirled his straw, pretending to be embarrassed. Well, the world is too dangerous now. Going out alone is scary, and there are a lot of other reasons. I think it's better to be with other players. The 30-year-old administrator turned to the next person. Alright, next is Black Fire Dragon. Hyung Zi carefully thought to himself, I can't say I came to kill other players. So he casually borrowed the reason given earlier, I'm similar to Little Cockle. I can't go to school anymore, and I'm also worried about the next round of the game. When he turned to In Hong, the 30-year-old administrator's tone carried some interest. Is that so? Then what about you, Black Hook? He raised an eyebrow and answered, I just signed up because of the forum. It caught my interest. The 30-year-old administrator chuckled awkwardly, I see. Meanwhile, Yumin stared at him. No matter what he says, he'll pass anyway, after all, he's Black Hook. The other party adjusted his posture and smiled, alright, your answers are all acceptable. Now we move on to the final part of the interview. After saying this, the 30-year-old administrator's attitude turned unnaturally excited. Murder. You must kill another person to pass the final stage of this interview. Yumin panicked, kill someone? But why? However, the other party remained eerily calm and said, it seems you still don't understand. Alright, let me enlighten you. His eyes widened with displeasure. You must have seen those posts already. The government has started cracking down on us players and has betrayed us. They fear us because we are stronger than them. The 30-year-old administrator clenched his fist with ambition. Even so, we players will soon rule the world. If we unite, this world will become ours even faster. He beamed with a bright smile, so we don't need to be bound by the law at all. We will make the government realize that players are now the law by resisting their regulations. Ryumin, still confused, covered his mouth. Is this the reason we have to kill? The 30-year-old man emphasized more firmly, that's right. This is how we show our will to the government. Hyung Taek was also stunned by shock, while In Hong remained calm. Make them understand that we are not bound by their laws. After finishing his words, the 30-year-old man returned to his gentle smile. Now, do you understand, Little Cockle? He softly replied, I understand. He raised a finger and reminded them, if anyone is unwilling to complete the final part of the interview, you can leave now. However, leaving means you will never be able to seek our help in the future. He wiped the cream from the corner of his mouth and said without surprise, what he means is that anyone who leaves will be blacklisted. This is to pressure us into killing, making it difficult for us to escape from this organization in the future. Black Fire Dragon in hand, and Black Hook Imposter, pondered for a moment but did not object. The 30-year-old man clapped his hands in satisfaction. It seems you're all ready. Good. Then I'll take that as a yes. Let's proceed with the final part now. Hyung Taek asked in confusion, you mean proceed? Start killing. But who can we kill here? He immediately replied, you don't have to worry about that. The 30-year-old man curled his lips into a meaningful smile, I've already arranged everything. Heavy rain began to pour outside, dark clouds gathered, and the sky turned gloomy, making the atmosphere even colder. After the interview ended, the 30-year-old man stood up voluntarily, shall we go? All right. At that moment, a petite girl walked out of the shop, are you leaving? If you'd like, you can stay longer since you've booked the place. He cheerfully chatted with the girl, no, we have something urgent. By the way, is there a bathroom here? The girl enthusiastically pointed, over in that corner. The 30-year-old man responded while rummaging through his pocket, thanks. In the meantime, could you do me a favor? She curiously asked, what is it? Then, he handed her his car keys, could you drive my car out of the parking lot? I'm in a hurry, so. The girl naively took the keys and agreed readily, of course, don't worry. Then, she picked up her red umbrella and walked into the rain. As she gradually approached the car door, it slowly opened. She folded her umbrella and prepared to enter the driver's seat. The heavy rain obscured her senses, preventing her from noticing a rough hand reaching toward her ear. Suddenly, 10 fingers clamped tightly around her neck, making her scream in terror. The man continued to strangle her forcefully, rendering her helpless as she struggled. The girl's small hands trembled violently, and her voice grew weaker. The 30-year-old man held her unconscious body in his arms, a smirk forming on his lips, easy as pie. Ryuman shouted in shock, what did you just do? Hyung Taek was equally stunned, why her? After putting the girl in, he calmly urged them, what are you waiting for? Get in the car. When the car door closed, the girl's arm, still wet with droplets, trembled slightly. The emotions of the 3 interviewees were complex. Does he mean the coffee shop owner? The car drove along the small road, with green tree canopies covering both sides of the path. After a while, the wheels gradually stopped in front of a certain spot. The 30-year-old man helped the female shop owner inside and guided the others, we're here, this is where we'll conduct the final part of the interview. They opened the warehouse, which was just as old and dim, perfectly fitting their intention. The girl's body was placed on the floor, and the host asked, shall we begin? Who will kill her? He was very interested in Renhong, so he suggested, how about you, Black Dog? The other party immediately agreed, sure. The 30-year-old man smiled contentedly, as expected of you. Suddenly, a voice interrupted their conversation, wait. He noticed the young man in the pink coat. What's the matter, little cockle? Lu Min hesitated and spoke, can I do it? The request made him sneer, you want to do it? Interesting, I didn't expect much because you seem too shy. Since the result was the same anyway, he didn't mind, it doesn't matter to me. Black Dog, do you agree to let him do it? Renhong didn't speak, just nodded in agreement. Then, Lu Min slowly walked toward him, while Renhong walked in the opposite direction. As they brushed past each other, the impostor whispered to him, do a good job, I've helped you out. Lu Min gave him a cold glance, thanks, I'll definitely make good use of the ancient teachings. Renhong was surprised and turned back when he heard this, ancient teachings? You mean? In that instant, 2 hands suddenly lunged at him. Lu Min decisively twisted, accompanied by the sound of bones cracking, and knocked him down on the spot.